And there we are. Okay, cool. Let's keep the stream health up here. Maybe as a tab, and then both of the chats side by side. I'm not entirely sure if I don't think I'm gonna try a thing. Okay? If I go offline from this, I'll be back in like a moment. But I think we should be fine. Matter of fact, I think the way I was doing it was messing up YouTube quite badly. So are we good now? You're still yelling at me. I'm just gonna refresh the dashboard real quick. More than one ingestion is using the primary URL. Send only one stream to... Yeah, no, but that should be fixed by now. That should not be an issue anymore. So I'm just going to pretend like that's not an issue, and we're going to be moving the fuck home. Alright. Alright. So what we'll be doing today is, first and foremost, message log is going to come up here, because otherwise it's going to block off my access to reading chat. And what we're going to be doing here today is mostly retrofitting the behavior tree for this dude over here for using the gameplay ability system, just like everything else in the game has been changed over to. Which starts off by us going into my enemies, the stat tables, where are my stat tables? Where the fuck are my stat tables? Oh, it's because they're on blueprints. I really panicked there for a second. Enemies, stat tables. We'll copy the one from the basic demon. And oh, the knight already has one. That's fantastic. So what we've got here is the stat table for the knight. So our base health and our max health are going to be the same, of course, initially. I think it even gets set to that, maybe by default. I'll have to check that actually. And let's set the max health to like 400. Also set the actual health itself to 400. You might be wondering, by the way, it already has a max value here and a min value. Why aren't you using that? And that's because... Shut up. That's why. And then the defense we're going to increase to like 100 or something like that. And then the weight for this one, we're not actually going to be using the weight for this one, I don't think. The higher the weight for an enemy is, the less it will get knocked back when it is hit. But we're just simply not going to give this guy the ability to be knocked back. I think that's the way we're going to go about doing this, because I don't want this this boss fight to be able to be knocked back at all. And the knockback itself is going to have to be a fair bit higher, so we're going to set that to 250. And then the damage, let's set that to 20 for the time being. So that's the stats table filled out for the knight. That's the easy bit. Now, we need to, in our enemies... where did I put the bosses and characters? Yeah, that doesn't make a huge amount of sense. That should probably be somewhere else. Anyway, we have the blueprint for the knight. So let's open that up. That makes perfect sense to me. Then the ability system is using the knight data table. And from there, it's just gonna be a matter of replacing some things in its behavior tree. And we're going to change a couple of things as well, based on the stream I had last week, I think. Where we... Last week, I believe, played Kingdom Hearts a little bit, and I did a little bit of checking about with boss fights and things like that. And we ended up with a situation where we kind of found out that these boss fights, at least in Kingdom Hearts, go through phases of being aggressive and actively seeking out the player character, and then attacking the player character when they're close enough, of course. But then also they have entire segments of their AI where they're just kind of standing about and just walking around for the player to have an opportunity to attack them as well. Initially, when I was just thinking about this stuff on my own, I didn't actually want to implement something like that, because implementing something like that would mean that there's entire portions of the boss fight where the boss isn't doing anything, and that would feel really, really weird. But again, playing Kingdom Hearts, that is literally what the AI does in Kingdom Hearts, and I came to the conclusion that you're not going to experience that as a player, because as a player, what you'll end up doing is you're just going to end up near the boss fight and trying to attack the boss pretty much the entire time anyway. So those moments where he doesn't really do much, he's not going to be standing around. That's just moments where he's going to be vulnerable and being attacked. So that's the basic idea. For now, this is the behavior tree that we have, and we're going to be changing a couple of things about this real quick. So at the moment, we have a attack trigger task where it can trigger a random attack from all of the light attack animations, which is just a single sword swing. And then we also have this thing over here, which it triggers when it's below a certain amount of HP, or defense rather. And that's just the same thing, but it's also got the heavy attack included with that, and that fires off some events and it gets stuck in the ground for a little while and stuff like that. So instead of just playing these animations, what it's going to need to do is it's going to need to play gameplay abilities, which just play this animation and also have some other code for damage stuff. So the easiest way to do that is to go in here into the basic demon and just get the basic demon attack here and just copy that over. That's really what we're like, the basic idea here. Because then we can just change the name of this to Knight Attack Light 1. And you're never gonna guess what we're gonna change here. First and foremost, this is attack basic. I also need to revise the tag system that I'm using, because at the moment I'm putting in specific tags for every single enemy, and that's just not necessary. So we'll change that at some point. For the time being, we'll just do light attack montage and then copy this over like 2 more times. And the basic idea here, we're going to actually move through relatively quickly, because we'll just say it is attack montage 2 and then light attack montage 3, and then we'll do one for light attack. No, that's not light attack heavy that's heavy attack heavy. Let's capitalize this properly. I say as I don't even spell it properly. that's fine. Honestly, that's fine. So that's the basic overview of how we're going to change the system, but we'll also need to test a lot, and this is probably going to take a while, regardless. I say, as my chair is being annoying again. Okay, so that's pretty much how I make the basic gameplay abilities for basic attacks. So right now, we simply add the do ability. And we take this decorator and put it on there. And here we add 4 potential abilities, and we'll just add Night Attack 1 through 4. And really, believe it or not, we're going to just copy this one over without the decorator. In just replacing these things, like, well, the teleporting attack actually we need to do as well. And that's going to take quite a bit longer because that's a custom, like an ability that we're going to need to build from the ground up. But for the most part, this is all it takes to replace the things that are needed to replace. So let's actually test whether or not that is true, because there is a non-zero chance that I end up having looked over something. Also, I'll put down a save next to the boss door so that I don't need to walk all this way every single time I need to go test against the boss, because we're going to fight this dude a lot today. Like a lot. So let's actually like put down a save game here. And oh yeah, we need to, I probably should disable this cutscene for testing purposes, because we need to sit through this cutscene every single time as well, and that's gonna get annoying. We probably don't want to have to do that. I don't think that's a great idea. So I'll I think it just autoplays. Maybe it's done through a script. I'll disable that in a moment. But now this guy should be able to, first and foremost, come down here and now attack me, maybe? He's having some trouble, isn't he? Let's check out his behavior tree. What is the issue? He's constantly trying to activate okay, so if I walk away from him, he just walks toward me. He shouldn't be able to. I mean, there's one easy fix for this, obviously. But he shouldn't be able to restart an ability once one has already been started. Right? That's not. These abilities don't allow for that. Retrigger. No. That's not allowed. Oh, no. I'm an idiot. That's not what's happening. I don't know what is happening, to be honest with you. That's not what's happening, because what I need to do, and I keep forgetting this, and this is kind of annoying about the gameplay ability system, but I understand why it works, but specifically for AI, it's quite annoying. What you need to do is, somewhere in here, I made a array for abilities that should be added on spawn. You need to explicitly grant an ability to a character in order for it to be able to execute that ability. So I need to specifically give it all of the attacks that I wanted to give to it. Of course, let's just look for Knight. So of course it didn't do anything because it didn't have those abilities. What is with people from Australia watching these streams while it is like, what time is it for you? I mean, I'm glad people are joining in and hanging out and stuff like that, but isn't it like 3 a.m. for you right now? 5 a.m. for Instagalactics. Okay, so now, what the actual? Okay, well, that's not what I imagined it would do. Australia very much does have different time zones. Are you from Portugal? Okay, so you're good. You're good to go. I'm fairly certain that Australia has like 3 time zones. I'm gonna look this up because I could have sworn it had like Australia time zones. Yeah, see, it has time zones ranging from GMT plus 7 to GMT plus 12. That's plus 7, plus... Oh, now you're attacking. Plus 7, plus 8, plus 10.5, and plus 12. I specifically remember the 10.5 one because it's like... A half-hour time zone? The fuck is that? Anyway, something is still not going quite right here, I feel. It's also... Is this not looking at the right key? Is that part of the issue? Well, that's definitely not like the issue here. Like, we're on the other corner of the world, so confused people saying the opposite. Like when it's morning, it's night here. Australian people are weird. Yeah, not Australian people, just Australia existing. So... I mean... I don't fully understand why it's re-triggering the abilities, because it shouldn't be able to do that. Then again, we also just straight up, like, when this thing is attacking, like everything else, like just open up a different behavior tree somewhere in here, and just that's not where that's at, apparently. Ground, basic demon. What's up with me is that I am thoroughly confused, but you shouldn't have a status stunned at all. And we're gonna put this over here, and we're going to just ignore that. That should fix that. That shouldn't be needed. I want to be very clear about that. That shouldn't be needed, but that should still... It's probably not going to... And the cutscene still plays. I really need to disable that. I mean, yeah, you're weird, but you're not weird for Australian reasons. You're just weird because you're weird. Well, maybe partly for Australian reasons. Okay, do you actually, like, fucking attack me now? It seems like... No. But this time I actually know why. Because we should... activation owned. We say attack. just attack basic, that works. And we copy that over to all these other ones as well. This is montage 3. That should fix it. And now, very importantly, this thing doesn't autoplay, which means that it is part of the level blueprint, which is 08 boss fight. I guess we can just... I've got a better idea. What we'll do is I'll just go in and manually... Oh god, where is that at? Where did I move that to? I've got a data asset somewhere in here. I suppose I can just see if I can, like, data... Yeah, I didn't think so. No. Oh, it's in the levels, I remember now. It's in levels, tutorial, events have happened, and then 08 cutscene. If I just enable this, it's not going to replay the cutscene. Because I did build in a system where if you have seen the cutscene once and you go back in after dying, it doesn't replay the cutscene every single time. So that's going to make things significantly... Okay, that does not fix my fucking issue, does it? Oh, and that is... Now that still makes sense, because I skipped one thing, and that one thing is... Ability System Components key, which needs to be... an actor type for some fucking reason. I don't know why. But this thing should be looking at the ability system components. So, how is everybody doing today? I am doing fantastically horrible because I'm being a bit of an idiot. But as you can see now, we don't get bothered with that, and we... Oh no, that makes sense. I was gonna say, why actually are you doing that thing? I hate my chair. I need a better chair. This is a new chair. Well, new chair. I got it second hand. But it lowers very, very slowly as I sit on it. So every 10 minutes, so it's not very slow. Every 10 to 15 minutes, I need to get up and have the chair raised back up as well. It's horrible. Well, yeah, making doors can be hard apparently. Very, very hard indeed. So the issue here is that the enemy defense below a certain threshold is looking at the wrong thing. Can I easily fix that? That's not what I wanted to open up. I want to open up this one. But that is... Okay, I'm just gonna make a new blueprint decorator for that. Fuck that. BT decorator. Put that in AI, otherwise it'll get lost. Check enemy defense below. So on start AI, what we'll do is we'll cast the control point to the enemy class, from which we'll get the ability system components, which will always be valid actually, so don't worry about that. We'll get the attributes, Oh, that's not what I... Get attribute set. Enemy attribute set, and then we'll get the... Hold on. That still just gets me a generic one? That's kind of bullshit. Wait a second, I am doing this in my UI as well. At least something similar, so let me check real quick how I'm doing this in my UI. Because here what I'm doing is player stats experience. That's not what I am looking for actually. What I'm doing here is attributes, and I can just immediately say there is just this one. Oh, that's the way we do that. We don't need any of this. And we can do that through, and then we can just get current defense. We can get max defense as well. And then we simply divide those to get a percentage. Always get mixed up here. You divide the smaller by the larger, so you get something less than 1. Yeah, that makes sense. And if that is less than or equal to... do we have a return node here or something? How do we... Now how to do this in C++. I've just entirely forgotten how to do this in Blueprint. Let me let me go to Google real quick for that. Unreal BT Decorator Blueprint. Probably would have been easier to just do this in C++, to be honest. Are you going to just, like, are you going to tell me at all how this works? Or are you literally just showing me all the pre-existing? You are. Okay, cool. I guess I'll just skim through a video real quick. I just need to know what the return node is called for this. That's the issue. You don't use this event for a decorator. What you do is you override perform condition check. And that gets you a return node. So we get the controlled pawn. And then we don't even need to branch because all we need is this. So we hardly need any execution, just like checking against this. What we will need, however, is a percentage to check, something along those lines, which will be a float, and we'll divide that by 100. Just to make it a little bit more intuitive. Okay, now that we have that set up, we can remove this one. what we can do is we can add a decorator, and now this should work, except the fact that this needs to be public. And now it should only do this under 50% defense, and this when it has more than 50%. Yeah, a lot of knowing. Something I don't do is knowing stuff. Okay, so he's still not damaging me. That's a problem. But at least it seems to be doing the right... I'm going to put this on my second screen. I'm very sorry you guys can't see this, but I do need to check this. It is executing the right ability task now. I do wonder why it's not damaging me though. That is weird. Because it should. Oh no, actually... No. No, that makes perfect sense. Because we have... nothing set up to send gameplay events. So when people say that the gameplay ability system is a little over-engineered and a little like stuffed with annoying... somebody is dying, can you hear that? It's a little bit overstuffed with overcomplicated ways of like communicating and sharing data between different classes. This is exactly what they mean. So the way I'm just gonna do that is I'm just gonna... I should make this into a macro. Because pretty much every enemy is going to need this. So let's make this into a macro. Oh, wait a second. Macros are blueprint specific. I thought macros could be used across different blueprints. Can they? There might be a way. I don't really care at the moment. What we'll do is we'll just copy this over and we'll get a begin overlap node. And we'll just paste this in. It's fine. So now, other actor should be the target. I suppose the instigator should just be self. I do really like that it gives you like 2 additional like objects to just send any arbitrary data through. That is quite nice. I haven't used that so far, but I can definitely see myself using that in the future. Now, can you attack me? You can. Holy shit! Okay, that's a little too much knockback, maybe. just a tad bit too much. Let's go back to 150. I don't think 250 was quite the right choice there. Let's see. Okay, you actually do need to hit me though. You actually do need to hit me though. Actually, thank you. Well, at least now when we get hit, you actually feel that you get hit. So that's a good start. You donated $2, but my stream elements notification. Yeah, I don't have any stream elements set up because I don't have an affiliate. I'm not an affiliate yet, so you shouldn't be able to send money unless. Wait a second. Do I still have that old PayPal link in there? Because if so, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't even know what PayPal account that is linked up to. I have a hunch, but I'm not entirely sure. Let me check. Where's my dashboard? It's been a while since I've used the Twitch account, so I don't even know what all is under there. Let's see. YouTube channel, yeah, that's and support me. Like, the image doesn't even work anymore. Yeah, I probably should change that. Matter of fact, I'm actually going to remove those panels now, because those are out of date as fuck. Yeah, I have a stream element link, but honestly, that's I don't really care about it, and that requires me to set up that shit, and I don't feel like it right now. I think it'll be in my personal PayPal account. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it will be. So that's $2 that I can send to my bank account, I suppose, at some point, if I want to. So yeah, now let's go back to worrying about this behavior tree. That's what we were doing. Because what we'll be doing is I need to set up a timer for when all of this runs. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a selector in between. Well, actually, this can run in there, and then another selector over here, because this more or less works. Again, we need to make the teleport attack from scratch because that doesn't do anything at the moment. Or well, it does something, but it doesn't do damage. Is there a easy way to retrofit that, or do I just need to remake that? I think I'm just gonna have to remake that, to be honest with you. Which is fine. And then here we have just simply how are we gonna set this up? I guess for now, we just add in a wait node, and we make him wait for like 10 seconds. Maybe 10 seconds is a bit much. We'll see. With a random deviation of 3. So let's set this to 8.5. And then what we need to do is we need to like set a timer where like this is like an active state for a minute, and then we do this. We can just do that with timers, right? Look, we have the tag cooldown, and for that we'll we'll make a new tag called AI. Aggressive? I feel like I misspelled aggressive. Hold on. I did. It's not going to matter that much, but people are going to call me out if I misspell that. So what we do is like a cooldown duration of like it should be the other way around. So by default it should be in its waiting state. Hold on, I think I've got this. And the tag cooldown should be on here. So what it will do is like, let's say 35 seconds for now. And it just checks whether or not... Oh, hold on, that's not how that works. Let's actually just set that to 0, so I don't get confused. So it'll check the tag cooldown, and if it'll let it throw, so if there's no tag cooldown on that tag, it'll wait for a certain amount of time, and then on the decorator also like set tag cooldown, and here it will set the aggressive tag to 35 is what we said, I think. So this way it'll start off waiting a certain amount of time, which isn't great, but maybe it won't be a problem. Then it will lock itself out of here for 35 seconds, so it'll do all this, and then after 35 seconds it's going to go back here and wait for a little while again, and we'll look into maybe improving this in a moment. So yeah, it's just standing around for about 10 or so seconds, which is way too long. Then it comes up towards me, but if I keep running around, after about 35 seconds, it should just chill out for a moment. Is the theory, anyway. Okay, you should also stop walking. This feels like it's longer than 35 seconds. Oh, I understand why. Because this needs to also abort lower priority. And actually, so does this. And probably this for that matter. Never mind, it can't. This one aborts both anyway, so it'll be fine. I hope. So it takes about 10 seconds for him to get started, which again, very annoying. If you're tired and it's like 5 AM, maybe that's a good idea to do this thing that some weird ass people do called sleeping. I know it's a very odd idea, but you should try it sometime. It's actually pretty good. He's not chilling the fuck out, is he? But now he is. That was way more than 35 seconds. That has to have been triggered by the fact that I made him attack. I suppose what we do is we... Oh, no. Oh, he's going to start attacking me in a moment. Oh, wait a second. His attack range is too big anyway, so that's fine. That's the wrong behavior tree. I needed to get this one. Okay, so he's waiting, he's waiting, he's waiting. Which is fine. That's what I expect him to do. And then we just need to walk around for like, again, about 35 seconds. I'm going to stay out of his range, and I'm going to check whether or not that behavior tree branch is getting triggered at all, or if it's going to keep being blocked. There should be a little bit more time in between his attacks as well, I think. Okay, he does actually just like stop, and that allows us to like go absolutely apeshit on him, and then we need to get the fuck out. Like right now, there's barely enough room to like attack him once when he's in his aggressive state. So, yeah. What we'll do about that is very simply... actually, I don't know if it's that simple. Because I don't have a clear indication from this do ability thing when the ability finishes, which is kind of like an issue. At the moment, I'm just... Is there any way... No. I'm thinking, is there any way that I can get a hold easily of the animation montage? That it's playing. And this is part of the issue with the gameplay ability system, is it's like... Any other blueprints, any other piece of code can very easily tell it to do things, but then getting information back out of it is kind of an issue. And that's not great. ZBrush is real good. I really like ZBrush. I was working a little bit with it again before starting the stream, just to like mess about with it. I made that head that I posted in the YouTube community tab and in the Discord. And I was just messing about a little bit, trying to make a body with it. I also, this morning, while I was downloading footage for work, I tried to make a similar looking head in Blender with sculpting, just as a fair comparison between the two. And that went significantly less well. So... yeah, I'm gonna stick with ZBrush. Probably, anyway. Yeah, so the thing we'll do here, I suppose, is just tag cooldown is, we'll just check for... It says attack cooldown. I can just, like... attack. And then here on either one of these, what we can do is we can do a set tag cooldown. And we'll set this to like 5 seconds, maybe? Something like that. That's what I'm gonna go with for now. Which will at least stop him from spamming attacks overly quickly. Again, this is a real issue. He needs to start moving as soon as this thing starts. And he needs to stop moving when he attacks, which is also an issue. Yeah, maybe 5 seconds is a little too long because we can go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2... Okay, not quite a full combo in. That's actually pretty good then. Wait, why is he restoring his defense? Why is he restoring his defense? He shouldn't be doing that. Also, I should be invincible. A lot of stuff does not seem to be working at the moment, and I don't exactly know why. Checkpoint. I don't care about the checkpoint thing. So yeah, why is his defense being reset? That has to be something in the base enemy class. Unless maybe... Let's take a look at the UI here. We've got the boss UI, and I think this is still using the... You fucking what, mate? Oh, enemy HP. It does use the enemy HP. So it does actually use the defense values, which makes sense, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to damage it anyway. So then why... Let's take a look at the base enemy class. Because it should only be... resetting... Okay, let's see. So we have the reset defense, right? Which resets the defense of an enemy after 5 seconds, and it does that after it's been hit, doesn't it? Yeah, that kind of breaks the whole boss thing. Let's go for blueprints, characters, player, gameplay ability system, gameplay abilities. See, everything is organized now. Are you proud of me yet? Probably not. Even the things have redirection nodes. It's very fancy. Where is reset defense? Reset defense only happens when this is false. And what is it doing here? It's checking whether or not the base value is less than or equal to 0. So this should be the other way around. This should only happen when this is true. I don't know how I fucked that up. That's probably part of the reason why the enemies seem so fucking annoying. Because they were resetting their defense when they shouldn't be. The defense should only get reset when, again, this is an issue, when the bar reaches all the way down. So that's 1, 2, 3. Get the fuck out. It's 1, 2, 3. Get the fuck out. Okay, maybe 5 seconds is a little much still, because I can get an entire combo in. I don't know if that's like a good thing or a bad thing. Okay, why is it? I don't actually do that once. It's doing it every single time now. That makes sense. But that's easy to fix. Because all that we need to do is to change this timer handle, which we'll call defense reset timer. We'll just move that to being a member. In the protected section here. And then we should be able to say we want to reset. So now it should only run this function. It should rerun the timer every single time we hit, so it will reset the defense 5 seconds after our last hit, which still, no, that still doesn't work. That still doesn't work. That's not how that should work. No. It throws an error anyway. That's the opposite of how that should work still. Okay, what we'll do instead is in here, we'll check if attributes defense is, no, that's not what I wanted to do, is less than or equal to 0. And we don't do that here. We only do that in the... Oh, that's still not great. For now, let's do it like this, because I don't think we're using this function anywhere else. I hope. There's no reason for me to be using this function anywhere else, so... VS Code for Unreal C++ is fine. I like it. I did a fuck up. Oh, yeah, no, that makes sense. Because what we need here is defense dot get base value. Yeah, no, it works fantastic. I really do like it, and I've been using GitHub Copilot recently, and that makes the entire thing even so much smoother. It's really, really good. Visual Studio is better. It literally doesn't matter. So let's see what this feels like. Actually, let's... Oh, we could do something interesting here, right? Because we could say that this sets it to 3 seconds, so he's a little bit more aggressive, and this sets it to like 4 seconds. So he's a little easier to hit in the first 50% of his defense bar. I think that's quite cool. I think that's quite neat. It has better intelligence. Maybe for Unity, that is true. For either developing Unreal or making auto hotkey scripts, which is both of the things that I do in VS Code, that's not my experience, at least. I literally cannot tell the difference. Yeah, this is still quite long. Well, maybe it's actually not too long. Maybe this is fine. This is pretty fine. And then we... Oh my god. I mean, sure, I do believe that it might be better for specifically Unity. That's fine. Okay. Aside from that little bug there, which I'm going to work at some point, this whole like just hanging out for however long, that's not working out too well. It takes 2 hours to get intelligence even. Okay. That's weird. Maybe what he does here is like we do a bit of this, but we just increase the length between attacks. No, that doesn't really make a lot of sense either, does it? Yeah, I very much doubt that using a different IDE will prevent you from making an Xbox build of your game. That does not seem like that's how that works at all. Like maybe it has a feature. Yeah, maybe for like testing purposes with like a dev kit that makes more sense. In which case, I still very much doubt that VS Code wouldn't support that, because it's still made by Microsoft, right? That's VS Code. Developer? Or am I just like straight up wrong about that? Yeah, no, it's still made by Microsoft, so all of the like the support from Microsoft is better for Unity talk there kind of like falls flat, because VS Code still is made by Microsoft. Yeah, I don't know. But I can see that VS Code might be a little less responsive than Visual Studio because it is supposed to be a like more lightweight IDE compared to Visual Studio, from what I understand. But aside from that, I feel like most of these other things just like straight up full flats, to be honest. I mean, I've got nothing against Visual Studio, but I'm hearing very little to convince me that there's a reason to use Visual Studio over code. Okay, how are we gonna do this? Maybe what we can do like is run this query. We only have one query, so that'll be fine. Let's check how I set this up on the Shaman. It's the wrong fucking folder again. Blueprints. Enemies. Characters. Ground. Shaman. That's the blackboard, that's not the behavior tree. Behavior tree. So we have this I'm just going to copy this over. So what it'll do here for like that's actually a very good question. How are we going to do this? You actually have to use Visual Studio to make UWP apps. That's what Xbox apps are, because you have to rebuild the project in Visual Studio. If I go here to packaging, well, I don't have an SDK installed for Xbox, but I'm pretty sure I can just make a package for like PlayStation, Xbox, whatever. Let's see, that's in the plugin settings, project settings here. SDK. Android. Maybe it is not for Xbox. Okay, Xbox doesn't have any, so maybe you've got a point. I'll have to look into that. I still kind of feel doubtful that that is entirely accurate, but sure. I don't plan on doing anything for Xbox anytime soon anyway, so it really doesn't matter to me in the end. Let's set both of these to false. So when we have a non-aggressive, when this is true, like this selector doesn't even need to be there. Actually, we can just straight up do this. I suppose what we can do is we can like make this into a... Can we not? Can we not hook up a sequence to a parallel node? Oh, we can do it to this one. So we can run the query. And then... Yeah, I don't like how this works. Let's get rid of that for a moment while I think about what we're actually like wanting to do to begin with, because I'm not entirely sure on that yet. Like just the hanging out and doing nothing really doesn't seem to be doing it. There's something more complex needed here, and I'm not entirely sure what that is yet, but okay, so we have a little trial and error going on here. So in general, there's two things that we need to fix up here. In general, like this needs to also set the enemy's defense to 0. So there needs to be a gameplay effect applied when that happens. Then also just in general, we need to change this to something bigger, man. Like this needs to be like 10 seconds. Let's go for 8 seconds, actually. Okay, and then we want to open that up and see. In the heavy attack, if we open that montage, set defense to 0. And then this should restore defense. Those are both on the animation blueprint, which... Okay, if we go to the mesh, we can find the animation blueprint in here. And both of these should be fairly easy to find. So we have the restore defense and set defense 0. Those should both be get ability system components. Apply gameplay effect to self for both of those. And I don't know if I have a gameplay effect for directly setting... Yeah. I don't know if I have a gameplay effect for directly setting the... I have one for restoring the defense, right? Reset enemy defense. I don't think I have one for setting it to 0 at the moment. But that should be pretty easy to make, because this is just gameplay effect. Enemy defense 0. And that should be as easy as going in here. It's instant. We'll overwrite defense, and we'll just overwrite that with 0. Just that easy. So enemy defense 0. I'll probably need to set up something that works a little bit better for like the restoring of the defense after a certain amount of time or whatever. Ooh, just didn't manage to avoid that. Okay, that should set it to 0, so I can go absolutely ham on his face, and then 1, 2. If you punch a hole in your monitor, don't do that instead, and just give me the money that you would have otherwise spent on a new monitor. How about that? Seems like a fair deal. I help you to not destroy your monitor, and I get money. Boss fight seems a lot more clunky now than it used to be, and I'm not a huge fan. But we can set the wait for like how long he just hangs about between attacks to being a little shorter than it is right now. Then again, when he hits, he does hit like a truck. And we don't have the final attack implemented yet as well, or like the desperation move rather. Why does he not stop moving when he does that? He should. Yeah, you do have to fix that door. That's kind of fucked. Let's see. Attack is set. We'll ignore that going forward. Distance to players less than 300. Should abort it? No, actually. Why am I checking for both 300 and 650? That makes no sense. I just got a message in my own chat, welcome to the chat room, which is not a good sign because that probably means that I dropped internet connection for a moment. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick, and then when I come back, I'm going to have a genius idea as to how to improve this boss fight. Deal? Deal? Deal. I think I just had an idea. That being... what I think Kingdom Hearts does, and I also just need to like install Dark Souls 3 or something like that and see how the AI for bosses works in that, to have more than one point of reference. But what I think it does in Kingdom Hearts is it makes the boss either like strafe around you or otherwise like walk toward you very, very slowly. But still, when you get inside a certain range, it will attack you with like a more basic attack than its usual moveset, which has a wider range. I think that is what is going on here. Which I can't really replicate with the moves that I have right here. So... let's just decrease these numbers and see what that does. Unity assets is down altogether. That's not great. Okay, so then we can 1, 2, 3. We can 1, 2, get the fuck out. 1, 2, get the fuck out. That's a pretty good rhythm, right? 1, 2, get the fuck out. And then when... Oh, that's actually pretty good. And then when you notice, hey, wait a second, I could have landed in a third move, you know that he's in the range of being able to do that move. Okay, that's actually like... Don't mind the fact that his like armor deforms when he does that attack. I need to fix that at some point. Okay, I also need to make myself invincible for knockback, because this is very, very annoying. The fact that he can still knock me back when I'm dashing. But this makes the boss fight feel a lot better already. Okay. That said, let's dismiss this and go into our character, player, gameplay abilities. We have the player knockback, which should be blocked when we are invincible. And that is the upside of everything being slightly convoluted and over-engineered in gameplay ability systems sometimes, is that it can be as easy as just changing a tag and... what? And you'll be fine. Okay, the timing on this is kind of tricky. It's maybe just not a great introductory boss fight. Maybe it's just a little too difficult. Oh, I got 3 attacks in. That's real good. And this should be enough to get about 1 combo in. Okay. And of course, that's just the first half of the fight. Now what we need to do is we need to like change up this node so that it actually does something. Yeah, if you can't download any packages into Unity, that significantly, like, that's problematic. I guess we just, like, do ability here as well now, right? So we just need to program that new ability. So let's see if we can, like, rename this or anything. Can we? Node comment, teleport, attack. That works. We also need to update this. And with update, I mean check enemy defense below. Here we'll just change that to check enemy HP below. Because literally the only thing we need to do here is to swap out this for get health and get max health, and we'll be good. Split these structure pins. Base and base, and that's all we needed to do. Let's close that down. Don't know what this is even. Don't need that. Don't need that. Definitely don't need this. This is player sword attack. We don't need that either. We don't need this. Don't care about that. 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 Don't care about any of this shit. These will keep open for a little longer. Website has major incident. That's usually not a great sign. It's usually a pretty bad sign. Yeah. That should have been a service. So that's BTS, update, enemy HP. Still, another one is a good node to have too, I suppose. But in this one, we want to have receive tick. And I suppose what we'll do is check enemy HP below. And we'll just do this. And then the output from that is gonna go multiplied by 100. And we'll use a Blackboard, actually HP key, which will be type. Blackboard key selector. And we will set value as float. And now we can add this service here, BTS update enemy HP. And we'll update the HP percent. So we can get rid of this one now. Okay. The big moments. We're going to actually program in the teleporting attack. For which I guess we might as well just start from nothing. Am I Google? I fucking wish I was Google. If I were Google, this entire process would be a lot less painful. Or more painful, because there's also a lot of bullshit information on Google. Night Boss. Let's make a new gameplay ability. And we'll call that gameplay ability teleport attack. And I'm just gonna take my Night Boss. Gonna put that code over here, and I'm just gonna look at it while I make this blueprint. Hello, welcome. Your name is obscure. Wait a second. Paragon Skyrim modder. I could do with a little bit of modding of my sanity right here. Okay, so first and foremost we're going to make a custom event which we'll call warning to attack, because that needs to spawn in Right. I thought that spawns in a particle system. I'm doing pretty good. The first part of this stream, just replacing some animations with gameplay abilities, went very, very, very easily. You asked Paragon. Of course, you don't care about me. Nobody cares about me. Okay, let me actually read through this code for a moment here on stream. It's very, very messy. So what happens is teleport attack. It starts by vanishing. When it vanishes, what it does is it sets the actor in-game hidden to true. Then it sets the spawn system. Huh? It spawns a system at the current location, which is the vanishing particles. That makes sense. Then it sets a timer, and then it does teleport to enemy. Teleport to enemy is a fucking horrible. It's teleport to location with collision check. That is the horrible function. So that just tries to. That doesn't do anything. Yeah, I don't think that does anything because everything is done in here. Where we query things with a collision trace, and then it spawns in the portal system, which is like a warning of when we're about to spawn in. And then we have one more timer before it actually plays the animation. Okay. That's the basic idea, anyway. So let's make a couple of variables here. That is this. Let's just call it vanish because that's shorter. Vanish particles, portal particles, appear particles, and all these will need to be Niagara systems. Spawn system at location. They're called Niagara systems. Niagara system. There we go. That's what I need. Can I just copy over the variable type? Of course I can't. We'll just type it out. That's fine. Niagara system. Wait. It's the wrong variable. No. Okay, so custom event for vanish. For that we'll get the avatar and set hidden in game to being true. Then we'll also make a custom event for find location for teleports. Yeah, do keep my stream open on YouTube as well. It's good for watch time stuff. And I like my analytics. Can we like capsule trace by channel? I think that's what we're doing here, right? What we're doing is we do a overlap blocking test by channel. Overlap so we can do a capsule overlap actors. I think that is the equivalent in Blueprint. Let's make another custom event for that. Check teleport location. And this will end up with the check teleport location. Yeah, no idea what that means. And for this, what we'll do is, do we need to cast every single time? No, but it probably doesn't matter. Cast to... Let's just cast to BP. I think it's called Test Night. Night Boss. There we go. Let's do that on activate ability after all, because we might need to reference this a couple more times. So let's promote that to variable for now. Because this way we can simply get the capsule size, which is the radius, and we also need the height. Oh, it just returns both. I didn't even know there was a function that returns both. Huh, interesting. And then it should just more or less check everything, as long as it's not overlapping with anything. Except maybe get the player character. Which we'll have to make into an array. It can ignore the player character. It shouldn't ever overlap with the player character, but it can ignore it regardless. Okay, so what is the issue now? Current value of query type of object type spin. For now, let's just check world static. I don't think it's going to matter in any other way. And that then gets us a return value of whether or not it overlaps with anything. I don't think that's what that does. I'm going to be real with you. I think what we need to do is we need to get the length of this. And does this have like a function is empty? There we go. That's what I needed. Always good to check this kind of thing. If it is empty, we'll do something. If it's not empty, we'll find teleport location again, which does create a loop potentially, but that'll be fine. That's how I do it in C++ anyway. So now we need to find the teleport location. And for this, I'm going to just take the math from what I do in C++. Because frankly, I don't fully remember how I came up with this. But it will get a random float in range between 0 and 2, which will multiply by pi, which is a pre-existing node here. That's amazing. And then what we'll do is we need to make a vector which okay, this is going to take a little bit more math than I thought, so hold on. Let's move this down a bit, because this is going to need a bit of room. This actually doesn't need to move down at all. It's kind of worthless doing this for just one node, making an entire function here, but that's fine. Set vanish, set hidden. Yeah, set hidden. That's what we're going to call this. Okay, so where are we? We'll make a literal float here for the distance from the character, which in my C++ I have set to, let me check by default. Should be somewhere in here, right? Maybe not. Where does this distance value come from? Hold on. Oh, it's in boss space. I don't know why. But anyway, that's set to 250 in my C++ code. So let's just stick with that because that seemed to work pretty well before. We'll multiply that by the cosine. Now I don't know if I need degrees or radians. Probably degrees is what I'm guessing. If this doesn't work, we can always use the radians version. But we'll take the angle from that, and then that will be our x component. And then for the y components, we simply... Why is the z component in my code here set to 0? That's weird. Okay, so for the y component, we do the same thing here. We get our distance value and multiply that by this time the sign, which again, I'm going to assume we're using the degree version, and plug that into the y, and then the z, calculate the destination location by adding the offsets to the center point. Oh, that's just the offset. That makes a lot of sense, actually. So what we do is we add this to get player character, get actor location. It's been a while since I wrote this code, okay? I don't want to go through like all the coming up with it again on the spot. And then from that, I also added 50 more in the Z to have just a little bit more height on it. And with that, we try to find a teleport location. So all this math is annoying, as math tends to be. Okay. That's more or less just some boilerplate code. What we do now is we simply play a bunch of animations. It's really what it comes down to. So I mean, if you want to spend money on somebody making a really bad 3D model of an AI generated image, you should. It's funny. Kind of wasteful, but it's funny. So that's the most important bit. It's funny as hell. Okay, so what we do is we, on activate ability, we start off by setting our set hidden to being true. And then we find location for teleport. The end ability we'll get to at some point. This is the first time I'm making a somewhat more involved ability with the gameplay ability system in Blueprint, which is something that I did want to do before I started recording the videos for the tutorials for this stuff, right? And this specifically is kind of an annoying one as well. I mean, AI-generated 3D models suck at the moment, but it is possible, so it's worth giving it a try, seeing what it spits out. So what I want to do, and I don't know where to place it at the moment, but I want to play a montage and wait. And that montage will play is the, I think it's just called teleport attack. I think it only has one teleport attack. Oh, it's teleport attack 1, 2, and 3. So what I'll do is 1, 2, 3. So on completed, it does the next one. On completed, it does the next one. And for now, that's what it does. And we'll make a variable for that actually. Teleport location. I'm just going to kind of blindly assume, which is not a great thing to do, but that by the time one of these animations is finished, it will have found a location to teleport itself to. There is a chance that it hasn't. But I don't necessarily know that there's a easy and convenient way for me to run all of these tasks only when a location has been found. Well, no, actually, I do have a way, I think. I do have a way. Like, these all... Let's just, like, stack them on top of each other like this. Because we can just make an event dispatcher. I literally just uploaded a video about delegates. But we can just make an event dispatcher and bind separate events. And that will be a much more efficient way of dealing with this entire thing. So let's take these and yeah, we'll put them over here. That's fine. I mean, Unity could be getting DDoS. There's plenty of people that are angry with Unity at the moment. Servers just also go offline sometimes. But frankly, I don't really give a shit about Unity going offline at the moment because, like, I mean, it sucks for you. Don't get me wrong. It's not ideal. Attack 1, and then just copy these over, I suppose. Yeah, I didn't think that would happen that way. Attack 2. Yeah, I'm very happy for all these not English speaking people. I hope you're having fun watching this, but I'm assuming if you are coming into a stream that's speaking English and you're chatting in not English, that you also don't understand anything I'm saying, so you probably aren't having much fun. Attack 5 and attack custom event, attack 6. Next attack. So we can bind this one. Let's do this on complete, actually. I think that makes more sense. Well, no, that does not make more sense. It should be looking for the next place to teleport to. Nah, let's do it on complete. According to Google Translate, that sentence doesn't make sense. So that doesn't much help me. Honestly, the fact that Google Translate isn't using, well, as far as we know, but it doesn't seem to have gone any better in the last year or so. The fact that Google Translate isn't using like a large language model for translation at this point. I mean, ChatGPT does pretty good with like translation related stuff. You would assume that Google would have been all about that. But then again, Google's trying to get their own LLM. It's kind of a tongue twister. Their own language model, which is not going that well for them. So who knows? So at the very start here we bind attack 1, which is a little bit messy. So let's move all of these things a little bit more out of the way. So we can move all these up a little bit. Okay. I think that's the basic setup for this attack. There needs to be a little bit of delay in there as well. Every single time. So let's go over this. What it does is it binds this to attacks. Okay, so we need to also unbind every single time. Don't forget about that. So after this has started playing, we need to unbind. And we also need to actually hook up the events. That would also be very helpful. I'm sure there is a slightly more like time efficient way to do this. But this method works. So we're gonna stick with it. And then if we find this thing, what we'll do is, hold on, we set a teleport location, but we don't actually need that anymore, I realize now. Because what we'll do is we'll just get the night boss, set actor location. Oh, we still do need that reference though. Monitoring the system has become unresponsive. Well, yeah, no fucking doubt, it has become unresponsive. I think we kind of figured that one out already, didn't we? Check teleport location. Let's actually make this into a separate custom event, actually. Teleport to player. Just for organizational purposes. This feels like it makes a little bit more sense. Teleport to player. Okay, so let's go over everything that happens here, just to make sure whether or not my logic is sound. So we activate the ability, we cast to the night boss, that will always be effective. We set that variable, and we set ourselves to being hidden. Then we bind to the first attack and we try to find a teleport location. That does this math, and then it checks whether or not that teleport location is valid. If it is not, it loops back around, tries to find a new location. If it is, it tries to teleport to the player. Before we set the actor location though, we want to spawn system at location for the vanishing particles. At the avatar, I wish it just got the get actor location node. When you try to hook this up into like, I suppose it could also be a vector for scale, so I guess I'll stop complaining for now. So it spawns a vanishing particle system at the location of the enemy currently. Then it should set to set hidden to true. So I actually don't need the set hidden true here. Because it will do that afterwards anyway. Then it will actually... The actor location will do after the delay, because we'll add in a delay here of about 0.2 seconds. And this is the wonderful thing about Blueprint compared to C++, is being able to work with timings a little bit easier like this, with like the async nodes. We can just say wait 0.2 seconds before moving on. That's really, really nice. So then we set the actor location again. We spawn in the particle system for the portal. And let's actually make this 0.1 for now. Because after we do that, we delay again for another tenth of a second. And then we finally set hidden to false. So we become visible again. And then we call out our next attack. And that, in theory, should be the entire ability, is what I'm thinking. So it'll do this one, and then let's see, on complete we bind to the next attack, and we do another find teleport location on all of these as well. That's quite important. Except for the last one will just simply end the ability. And the wonderful thing about this is that for the most part, I can copy over a lot of this code for my player's special ability as well. So all of this is set up now for the enemy. I'll be able to repurpose this for the player itself. So let's go into our test night, because what I should not forget is to add this to the array of abilities on startup. Should select the class, not one of the components. Did we give it a name? Gameplay ability, teleport, attack. Probably should be more descriptive with that name, but it'll be fine. And then here we can say we want you to do the teleport attack. Okay, let's test this out. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna be mad. Because that took a bit to set up. Oh, also, there is a bit of an issue with it needing to be under 60% health in order for this ability to be able to be triggered to begin with. So actually what we're going to do here is we're going to set this to 99. So that way we should be able to see this ability. Oh, infinite loop detected. Yeah, no, that makes sense. There is an infinite loop there. I'll give you that. Yeah, I figured brute forcing it like that was going to be an issue. How do we do that? Because that's how I do it in my C++ code, I believe. Right, if we open up this C++ code over here, what it does is it checks with collision. And then if it does have collision, it does teleport to enemy and returns. And otherwise it goes on to... No, that's not how that works apparently. Abort teleportation and print debug message. But it still does teleport to enemy. So it does loop back to here. So what I'm doing here just doesn't work with Blueprint because it has more protections built in apparently. Okay, that's fine. That's entirely fine. I can deal with that. All of these also actually need to have a damage thing set up. So what we'll actually do is worry about that in a moment. I don't really care about that right now. Okay, we'll do something else. I have an ID. It's not a good ID, but I have an ID. If it's overlapping with any collision at all, what it will do is it will simply take the position 180 degrees away from the player, from where it currently is at. That should be a pretty safe bet. As to it ending up in a safe spot. So what I'll do is we will get the look at, get look at, find look at rotation, sure, of this, and get player character, get actor location. Get avatar. We'll also get the actor location from that. Then we'll get a vector from this one, which will multiply by 500 and 500. Add that to the actor location at that time, and then set actor. Actually, we can just teleport to player with that. So that in theory might be a good solution. It's not a good solution probably, but it's probably a functional solution. Maybe, is my hope. Yeah, no, it's not, is it? It's just teleporting further and further away. Which honestly, let's just for a moment pretend like this part of the equation doesn't matter and just run that bit just to check whether or not this all works to begin with. We can check. We can worry about like checking collision overlap stuff later. I'm sure it'll be fine. It seems to be picking the same location quite a lot though. Yeah, totally. Programmer meaning depressed in Latin makes total sense. I'm going to just totally believe you on that. That's I'll play along. Okay, so this attack first and foremost has priority. And we wait like a good 10 seconds for that. I just want to see whether or not he teleports to like random angles. That's the single most important part. Everything else we can figure out as we go. But he seems very insistent on teleporting into the same goddamn position every single time. And I don't quite understand why, because it should generate a random float every time it comes through here. Like it finds a random teleport location. Can we just like get a random let's see. I want to normalize random vector 2D. No, okay. We'll just take this one then. Normalize vector. Tolerance is fine. This will just be 0. And we'll multiply that by our offset. This is maybe a more straightforward way of doing it anyway, I realize now. The nav mesh does have a function that does that. While I increase the height of my chair again, there we go. The nav mesh does have a function that does that. I don't know that I have access to that at the moment. Get random. Maybe from here. Random location. Get AI controller. Get random location. I still don't think that will necessarily work for what we're doing here, but that's not a bad idea, so it's still worth like looking into. My only question is, do I need to be in a behavior tree task in order to get that? It does, but I just don't know if I have direct access to it, is the only issue from here. So let me Google that real quick. Unreal gets random reachable points, I think it's called. U navigation system. That's the C++. I want to have the blueprint in this case. Oh, it needs to have a... I mean, that is a pretty good idea, actually. Because what I can do is I can use the... It needs a vector as input. Get random reachable point in radius. And then the radius can just be 250. And we can just do this. That might be a more straightforward way of doing it. This will only work when there's a nav mesh, obviously. But this should only ever be applied when there's a nav mesh, so that should be fine. That might be a lot better. That might be a lot better. Let's see. Oh my, what the fuck? Okay, something happened there. I don't know what, but something happened. So I'm gonna test the other one real quick. Just to see if that makes a difference. Or is something else causing that weird ass behavior? I really hope that it's something else. in a way, because I really do like the using of the... Why do you keep walking while you're attacking? I really do like the idea of using the navmesh system to get that random point, because it feels more... So let's figure out where he went, shall we? Yep, there he goes. That doesn't make a lot of sense though, because that was... First and foremost, that was the wrong pin. That was not what I meant to do. But that was the code we used before, and now... Oh, because he just teleports into a place where, like, collision is an issue. Okay, that makes sense. So he's probably going to do something similar with this, I imagine. Because what I'm now doing is just a more compact way of what I was doing before. Oh my god, this actually works. Okay, that actually works. That's fantastic. Okay, so that's how we're going to be doing things. I do want to test out, because there's gonna be an issue, and I'm gonna show you what the issue is gonna be, because if I like damage him a little bit and he eventually and he eventually does his teleporting attack, right? He's gonna teleport inside of that collision, and that's gonna be a problem. Which is why I like the navmesh ID, because if I just turn on the navmesh, actually it probably, like, it still considers this navmesh walkable. So that's probably still gonna be an issue, I think. Maybe? I don't know. But maybe this will now work. I don't know, are you adopted? Maybe. I didn't adopt you. I'm not gonna adopt you. That's for goddamn sure. Yep, no, he still teleports inside of collision, and he still gets stuck. Just to check, this thing is set in its collision to world static, right? Yeah. So that's not helping matters at all. Oh, that's... Where did Unreal go? There we are. So yeah, the teleporting inside wall things is still a bit of an issue. I suppose what I should do instead of doing this is I should do a line trace from the player. So if we line trace by channel instead, and we start at the... We still ignore the player, obviously, but we start at the player location. So we start at get actor location. And for this one we can actually set the debugging to also draw the line traces, which will help a lot. And we'll trace to that end position instead. we can simply do this. And we'll trace on... Let's see, visibility. How does this deal with visibility? It probably... It blocks visibility. Okay, so that's good. Let's do one. Okay, yeah. Where the fuck did he... He doesn't teleport to the right places. At all. I've got an idea, actually. Instead of all this, what we can simply do is when there is a hit, we simply just get the hit location and just teleport them to there. That still like half teleports them inside of a collision, which maybe not ideal, but it's a start. So let's check it out. I specifically want to try out having him teleport to me when I'm near these walls. Okay. So what we do is we first go back to our test night and see hold on, where is the pivot point for this guy? Because I think it's in the middle of his body, right? That probably should be on the bottom. But we can deal with this. We can deal with this. We can deal with this. That's fine. So let's take away this. Well, no. Actually, let's keep that. Because we can... hello? I would very much like to split structure pin. That was there before. I don't know why I didn't see it. Okay. Get size, which is capsule. Half height. I think this might fix it. Yeah, I'm also going to end the stream in a moment because we've been live for a hot minute, but that's what like live coding will do to you. Not live coding as in the feature within Unreal Engine, it's coding while being live. Yeah, so that's definitely not what we wanted to do. The most interesting bit here is that when the line trace doesn't hit anything, he teleports into really fucking weird places. Like maybe we should take a look at that first. Because that doesn't seem great either. Because that's just the endpoint of that line track, so he should just move over there. And when he does that, he should be, like, everything should still happen the same, but it doesn't seem to. Why? Why does that fuck it up? Like, that is really weird. I'm assuming he just teleports into, like, fucking nowhere. Like, under the map or something. Like, inside a wall, maybe? Not inside a wall. He's just infinitely falling under the map, right? Yes, he is. Why? Okay, I'll do you one better. What we do is we load in here. We immediately open the details for this test night character. Hello? I said we immediately open the details for this test night character. We lock that. Now that we have that locked, we're gonna keep an eye out on his position data when he teleports. It seems like he just teleports to... Does he just teleport to 000? Is that it? Hold on. Because that makes even less sense if that is what he does. 000. Why? Because this, like, check teleport location. It does the right coordinates. What the fuck? I don't know, dude. This doesn't make any sense to me. I suppose what we could do is we could, with this set actor location, we could just simply sweep, actually. And we could remove all of this. And that probably does fine. Aside from the fact that apparently it teleports you to fucking 000, which makes no sense. Let's just for shits and giggles like print this as a string. If this doesn't get me closer to an answer, I'm going to end the stream there for now. If this does fix it, I'm also going to end it. There's only like, if this gives me an answer and I know how to, or have an idea how to deal with that, we'll keep going a little longer. Okay, that certainly seems to have fixed it. Aside from the whole he's not teleporting around me anymore thing, which is not ideal. But that might be an issue somewhere up here. So we're not using any of this shit anymore. Let's get rid of it. Okay. Probably don't need that anymore either. Although it does work out quite well. Okay, let's test it one more time, just like out in the open, like this. The fact that he just teleports to the same location over and over again is really bothering me. Let's also set the cooldown for this thing to... something closer to like 10 seconds. So we can do it a couple of times in a row. Just makes my live testing this a lot easier. Give it a couple of seconds and he'll do it again. He shoot. He doesn't. Don't know why. Okay, so the whole random location thing isn't working, seemingly, for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. But... at least the sweeping thing fixes some shit. Oh... I know why. I know why. I know why. I know why. It is the sweeping. Oh my god, can I... that gets me back to capsule trace by channel, doesn't it? No, because that's not what that does. Unreal, set, actor, location, sweep, ignore, actors. I don't fucking know. Unreal, set, actor, location, sweep, ignore, actors. The issue is that he is... why is it trying to find me news? The issue is that when it's sweeping, what it does is it finds the player and doesn't move because of that. And this feels like a thing that might be a C++ thing after all. What you could do is check the hit results of the sweep and see what actors have been hit. Set world. Set world location. Yeah, that's not gonna work either, is it? Sweep only works for a root component. Yeah, I feel like I'm going to need to make a function in C++ that lets me ignore certain actors, because I feel like we can just check this real quick in C++. I'm not going to do that right now, but if I... like in here somewhere we have the teleport to enemy, we can... oh no, that is actually in here. Wait, set actor location. Surely this one has like a sweep parameter thing, right? New location for sweeping, sweep hit results, teleport type. Okay, no. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of Googling and research and thinking about this, because using sweeping does make the most sense to me. Possibly what I could do is change its collision settings. Set response to channel. For what I assume the capsule component would be. Okay, what we'll do, I think I have an ID. I think I have an ID after all. I'm working on my action RPG. I'm just in the process of wrapping up for today, after I try out this one little thing though. I just need to check. I think this thing is set to... let me see... the mesh, not the mesh, the capsule component is probably set to pawn. Okay, so it should ignore pawns, and then after this it should block pawns again. Maybe this fixes my my issue with the teleporting. Maybe. Let's see. Well, this gives you a little bit of an opportunity to see the game in action, even though it's just in a testing scenario. Come on, do your teleporting thing. Okay, that did indeed fix it. Cool. Now, just to be sure, if the sweeping otherwise still works, I'm going to set up against one of these invisible walls, and in a moment it will start doing that again. It should also rotate towards the player. I should set that up as well, because at the moment it doesn't do that. So when We set the actor location. Let's also pull this and set actor rotation. For which we'll use find look at rotation. The start will be our new position. And the end will be our get player character. The Z rotation is the only thing that we need to change. So what we do is we get the avatar actor rotation, and we simply just make a new rotator with that. So this one uses the Z, and this one we use the X and the Y, and that should now also rotate the boss towards us, in theory, hopefully. I've not made anything that's on Steam as of yet. Sadly. This, whenever this at some point maybe finishes development, it is the idea to put this up on Steam eventually, but that's gonna be a while. But hey, the boss fight AI works again, so that is a pretty huge step for my rewrite of the combat for my game. For now, I've been live for like a while. Let's see, where's my dashboard? I think we've been live for about 3 hours at this point. Let's refresh and see. Yeah, it's pretty close to 3 hours. So we're going to call it there for today. It's been a good one. We changed the AI for the boss fight to work with the gameplay ability system now. I would have liked to do a little bit more updating to it to make it feel a bit more intelligent as well, but we can do that some other time. For now, I'm freaking starving. I need food. So, I'll see you all next time. And very sorry for everybody who just joined like at the very end of the stream. That keeps happening. I don't know why. See ya.